Hey everyone, Travis Thom here, and today I'm going to be walking you through a couple different targeting strategies that you can start to focus on with the new changes that Facebook is coming out with in terms of the targeting and restrictions that come into play. So by September, all of these new changes are going to take place with housing ads, employment ads, and credit ads, and that's going to be a change to some people that may not be using different types of targeting strategies that you should be using now. Now, Facebook went ahead and they said, we're going to remove the ability for you to run ads to zip codes or by age or by gender. Now, that's not really a significant impact. That doesn't scare me as a Facebook marketer because we've been using, these types of strategies that I'm going to show you for a long time. And we didn't really rely on targeting people by gender or zip code. Sometimes age we did. But there's different ways, different workarounds you can really leverage that are going to make an impact that you can have success with. So I'm going to walk you through what that looks like. So before we begin, I want to go into how we are really data-driven. And any successful marketer needs to be data-driven. You need to look at historical data, opportunities, and understand where is a low-hanging fruit. So we go over certain types of data that might give you kind of a more insight into how we're thinking. So these are all the top life events that have influenced people to make a decision to move, right? To actually buy or sell. And this is data taken from Zillow, Realtor.com, and what we saw were that the top four were, all targeting interests. So if you look at it, we go, got married, right? Separated or divorced, gave birth or adopted a child, or they retired. Those are the top four actual life events that take place that really cause people to say, you know what, maybe we should be moving. So how can we really leverage that and target those people based on this data? If you look at all of these are all targeting interests in some way, shape, or form. It's just how do you develop a targeting strategy without using age, without using a zip code, right, without using gender. So this is what we do. We create audience personas. Right? So those audience personas give us a blueprint on what to use, right? How to really use and leverage that type of data so we can make sure that we're matching the right ad copy, the right type of campaign, making it relevant to the specific audience. All right, so we're going to match the life stage with the consumer behavior first. On the left-hand side here, we have our kind of snapshot, right, of who to include. So married, right? We're going to go to people that are newly engaged, 1 year, 3 months, 6 months, newlyweds of 1 year, newlywed of 3 months, 6 months, and then demographic relationship, engaged, married, right? All of these are either they're getting ready to get married or they just got married. You can do things like David Bridal or the knot.com, tie into some of those other types of events and behavioral activities that they're doing online and offline that would indicate they are married, right? They are actually getting married or about to get married, and that life stage is taking place very soon or right now. So that's kicking off the decision cycle, right? Because we know that that top 71% is pretty big, right? So we want to target those people. So then how do we match that? Well, then we need to match that with the actual consumer behavior. Buying a house, house hunting, Realtor.com, Redfin, personal relocation, Trulia, Zillow. Those are all things that they've either downloaded or that they have interacted with, and the activities are indicating that they are looking to buy or sell in the near future. So pairing those two, right, those together, the life stage with the actual consumer behavior, creates that perfect audience to then run the ad to go after the low-hanging fruit. Now with this, we're not using age, we're not using gender. We're going after a 15-mile radius targeting because that's our new strategy, right? Any targeting you're going to do is going to be within a 15-mile radius, and we can't use gender or age. So the idea here is that you don't need to dial down by age because the interests and the life stage, right, and then the actual consumer behavior targeting is already going to shape who your age is going to be. You're giving the algorithm a little bit more room to breathe and think and learn so that way it can really go after those people. Right, growing family, another great example. Right? These are kind of my favorite because they're typically moving up. They need to sell the property and then buy a new one. Now, why growing families? Well, they are typically sellers are typically buyers first, sellers second. Now, do they buy first? Not necessarily, but they search. They start to look out into the market. They start to forecast, what is our life going to be like after we sell? We need to find the neighborhood we want to be in, the property we want to be in, right? Is there a school district that our kiddos should be in? So they start to look out in the market, understand, is it the right time to price and sell our home? Is it the right time to get a new mortgage? So what does that look like? Well, we have parents, right? All the parents, newborns, preschoolers, toddlers, all of those are within a school age range where they're looking at school districts. Right? That's a big component to a lot of people when they're moving. And historically, people move within a 15-mile radius of the previous address. So that radius whole thing and not using zip codes is not really a big concern. We still have a lot of room to work with. Now, matching the parents, right, the growing family with then the actual consumer behavior, right? So we have parents, right, new kids, growing kids. They need more space. They need a bigger backyard. They need more rooms. So what does that look like? Well, we then target them by behavior. Buying a house, house hunting, mortgage calculator. Homeowners are typically thinking about what can we net out, right? What can we sell the house for? What are our expenses? What do we owe? How much are we going to net? What does the next mortgage payment look like on the new house? Can we calculate those payments? Then Redfin, personal relocation, Home Depot, right? Zillow and home improvement. Now, two others that stick out, Home Depot and home improvement. 9 times out of 10, homeowners are making at least one major repair to their property. And a good majority of the time, about 90% of the time, it's paint. So they're painting something, the outside, the inside. Where are they buying that? At a major home improvement store that sells a ton of paint. So think of it that way. You have to reverse engineer what is the actual behavior of that consumer. What are they doing now? So then take that and then start to layer on these interests. So we can target homeowners that are parents that are looking to buy a house. So start to rethink all the strategies that you're working on. And when you start to go, I don't know if I can target by age or zip code or gender, you have to rethink your targeting strategies and leverage what are people doing and how can you get in front of them and what are they moving into? What life stage are they moving down or from, right? So think of all of those, right? Downsizers, baby boomers, retiring, AARP magazine. All of those are going to be key interests. So keep in front of the life stages and play around with the broad interest targeting. You don't always need to use a lot of interests. Facebook is getting smarter and smarter with the algorithm. And we're going to have to get used to working with larger audiences over time. So keep that in mind. Hopefully you guys found that helpful. And this is some information that you can take and run with. These are just 2 of the personas that you can start. There's a lot others in that first slide where I showed you about all of the different top life stages that influence people to move. So that should give you an idea of what to work with.